Why study in the U.S.? The answer is because teenagers haven't decided what they want to do yet. And they also want a full campus experience. In most of the world, when you're in high school or even middle school, you need to decide you're going to be an engineer, or a doctor, or a nurse, or a writer. But families around the world want to come to the U.S. because we explore the liberal arts and sciences, meaning kids, we believe, as teenagers, don't know what they want to do. They shouldn't know what they want to do. And if they think they know what they want to do, they're going to change their mind if you look at all the people who change majors in colleges. So they come here for boarding school and sometimes summer camps to start the journey, and for university to explore different academic disciplines, change their mind. I started as an economics major and then came out as an English and French major because of some charismatic professors I wanted to be around. And that's why people flock to the States, to get that sense of exploration, which is part of adolescence. The second part is the American campus experience, whether it's boarding school or university, is not just the classroom. And in much of the world, you just go to school and then you go home. And the schooling tends to be lecture-oriented and is memory-based around exams. And folks that we work with from, as I mentioned, Europe and the Middle East and the Americas will come to the U.S. because there's smaller classes, is more discussion-oriented, and they are living with their peers. And so much of the education, when I was working in boarding school and my colleagues here at McMillan Education, happened after school, in the dormitories, on the playing field, in the theater, in the bands. So that holistic experience is why so many families from over 60 countries have contacted us here to study in the U.S. Now, applying to American universities and getting accepted is not as simple as in other countries, where you take an exam and you're in or you're not, or you have an international baccalaureate score of a 38 and you're accepted. In the U.S., it's more complicated, and it's very competitive. It's more complicated because there are not only grades and scores, the objective criteria, but a whole slew of subjective criteria, such as extracurriculars, teacher recommendations, how interested you are in the college and how much you show it, your applications, the essays, not just the main personal statement, but in some cases, dozens of supplemental essays. So we help families understand the process and we simplify the applications. We find that when students come to the States, maybe we encourage them to look at a summer camp first to get a feel for it. But the landscape is gigantic. In other countries, there's some principal universities or there's a certain style of learning. It tends to be larger institutions and it tends to be direct instruction like stand and deliver lecturing. And in the States, there are over 3,000 universities. There are dozens and dozens of boarding schools, as you can see in our OWL boarding school guide, and even in the Boston Day School area, progressive to traditional type schools. So there's tons of choice. And we help cut through and identify which schools are right for the international student coming to the U.S. or for that adventurous American student who wants to maybe do a dual degree, 2 years in the U.S., 2 years abroad, or may want to look at this burgeoning group of American universities abroad, or maybe just take a year abroad. So often when I'm finishing a speech abroad, a family will say, "Why would we choose you?" To which I say, "We know kids extremely well. We're not just folks who've been at admissions offices, although that's a good skill, but we've been in a classroom and we understand students. We also have more experience visiting hundreds of different campuses. So we understand both sides of the student-campus match. We also don't manufacture admissions results saying 95% get into their first choice, because that tends to lower the aspirations of a student and lowering the bar. We want to shoot high and be aspirational, but we also will choose colleges that are more low risk, that are also excellent colleges, because we've been able to visit them and we have the expertise to know the full range of all the different campuses. So if you're interested in having your child study in the U.S., or you're an American looking to study abroad, reach out to us, fill out our inquiry form, and let's get started. Bon voyage.